The Honourable Member for Mermaid Stratford.
Mr. Speaker, I ask that motion 8 be now read.
Should carry.
Motion 8. The Leader of the Official Opposition moves, seconded by the Member for Charlottetown Brighton, the following motion. Whereas tourism has suffered disproportionately more than any other sector during the pandemic, and whereas Prince Edward Island already has many of the attributes necessary to market the province as a cycling destination, such as the Confederation Trail and a growing network of mountain biking trails. And whereas cycling and active transportation have been identified as important opportunities in our tourism future. And whereas the Tourism Industry Association of Prince Edward Island lists experiential tourism, which includes cycling and other active pursuits, as a key future tourism prospect for our province. And whereas substantial federal funding is currently available for low carbon initiatives, such as infrastructure projects related to cycling. And whereas building our provincial economy utilizing climate-friendly opportunities will continue to establish us as a progressive and sustainable destination at a time when people are specifically seeking that out. And whereas there are significant economic benefits derived from visitation related to cycling. And whereas improvements to active transportation infrastructure will not only assist tourism, but will have significant benefits for Prince Edward Island residents. Therefore be it resolved that the Legislative Assembly urge government to promote Prince Edward Island as a cycling destination. Therefore be it further resolved that the Legislative Assembly urge government to expand and accelerate infrastructure investments in order to create a comprehensive bicycle path system for Prince Edward Island.
I'll call on the Honourable Leader of the Official Opposition to start debate.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. 3 years ago today, Josh Underhay and his young son Oliver died in a tragic canoe accident just 3 days before the general election in which Josh was the Green Party candidate in District 9. For many of us, Josh is on our minds and in our hearts frequently. He was a singular, bright and radiant light who is absolutely impossible to forget. Josh was passionate about many, many things, among them cycling. He was a tireless advocate for safer and more accessible cycling infrastructure on Prince Edward Island. And his wife Carrie and brother Mitch established bike-friendly Charlottetown, which is now called Bike-Friendly Communities, to honour Josh and Oliver and to keep Josh's legacy as a vocal advocate for cycling alive here on Prince Edward Island. It's my honour today to bring forward this motion in memory of my friend and to continue to move Prince Edward Island towards a more friendly, safer and welcoming bike culture for both islanders and those who come here to visit. Because when we improve cycling infrastructure on the island, we benefit not only those of us who live here year-round, but we create an environment that will draw people to come here as a cycling destination. I'm a keen cyclist and I put tens of thousands of kilometers on my trusty 30-year-old Mayada Alumacross hybrid bike. It's looking a bit worse for wear, as am I. Last summer, my wife Anne and I spent 2 days riding from Tignish to Emerald, which is almost exactly the halfway point of the Confederation Trail, and we hope to complete the trip all the way to Elmira. Speaker, I might drop in for a cup of tea when we get there. The next time that life allows us enough clear time to do that. And the Confederation Trail, of course, is the envy of so many other places, as it provides that central spine that runs from tip to tip across our island, occasionally striking off on its 7 branch lines. And it's an absolute joy to ride. It's well maintained, it's safe, it's peaceful, it's beautiful, and for somebody who's aging and not quite as fit as they used to be, it's delightfully flat. So 3 cheers for the Confederation Trail here on Prince Edward Island, and kudos to those who recognize this as a really precious asset to be maintained. The only problem with the trail, however, is that it sits in relative isolation, largely disconnected from a comprehensive bike path system that would take people who are traveling on it, islanders and visitors alike, safely and efficiently from the trail to the hundreds and thousands of restaurants and conveniences and sleeping accommodations and attractions that are dotted all across our island. And it's that lack of coherence, that lack of integration that is limiting our province's ability to proudly and confidently market ourselves as a cycling destination. There are, of course, many forms of cycling. There's touring, there's road biking, and there's mountain biking. And to be a bona fide cycling destination, you have to have a number of assets that cater to preferably all three of those branches, but at least one of those branches very, very well. We already have several island businesses that are thriving, well, at least they were thriving prior to COVID, on the touring side. And here, it's a combination of traveling on the roads and the Confederation Trail, which creates the perfect product. I also know all kinds of people who ride on our province's roads, exclusively and specifically on our roads, and they log thousands of kilometers every year without incident. And the road cycling community here on Prince Edward Island is large, and it's very, very strong. But if we are truly to market Prince Edward Island as a safe place to come and cycle on our road system, I think we have a lot of work left to do before we can confidently and safely say that. It's mountain biking where I believe we have the biggest and the best opportunity to push ahead what this motion calls for, which is namely to promote Prince Edward Island as a cycling destination. We already have some magnificent trails in so many parts of PEI with upwards of 70 kilometers in place, and it's expanding all the time. And the gem in our established trail system is at Brookvale, where we have the best mountain bike trails in the Atlantic region, without doubt, and a mix that makes it hands down the best place to learn mountain biking in this part of the world. And unlike some cycling destinations that cater specifically to those hardcore mountain bikers who want nothing more than vertical, crazy, demanding tracks, many of the tracks here on Prince Edward Island are designed specifically for beginners. And that's exactly what families are looking for when they're seeking a place for a cycling holiday. And I need to give a quick shout out here to the trail builders on Prince Edward Island, to Joe Downham, to John Mullins, and to Albert Flavel, who between them have created an absolutely fantastic system in Brookvale, as I mentioned, in Strathgartney, in Bonshaw, in Gairloch, there are some in Cardigan, there's some, like all over this island, we have a beautiful series of trails. However, there are some significant gaps in our cycling infrastructure, though none that couldn't be overcome with a modest investment of funds. And it's clear, I have to say that, we're not looking at a huge investment here in order to complete our star as a cycling destination. Linking the existing trails is one of the critical elements. And having spoken to those in the cycling community, particularly the mountain biking community, their number one ask is for a project to be done that will link Brookvale and Strathgartney on the roads in this area. And that, again, is a fairly easy and very inexpensive thing to accomplish. You only need a couple of roads that, very lightly traveled roads, requiring a proper paved shoulder to allow the safe and convenient twinning of those big trail systems across the island. And there are several benefits and things to consider when we're creating this vision of Prince Edward Island as a cycling destination. Of course, future tourism prospects, safety, economic opportunity, health benefits, facilitating expanded active transportation, and becoming a significant contributor to lowering carbon emissions. It's critical to point out that with each investment we make to enhance our province as a tempting destination for those who are looking for clean and safe and attractive places to visit, we also create a place for those of us who are lucky enough to call Prince Edward Island home, and that will benefit our whole population and our wider community. Increasingly, the traveling public is looking for interesting, unique, safe, and clean, healthy destinations in which to enjoy their vacations. So-called experiential tourism is something that's been identified by experts all around the world, and locally here on Prince Edward Island by TIPI, the Tourism Industry Association, as a growing market sector and a really huge opportunity for PEI. It's clear that regular physical activity is important not only for our physical health, but for our mental well-being. And when we build infrastructure that is bike-friendly, it is also inevitably pedestrian-friendly, whether those are trails that go through forests or active transportation lanes in our cities. So every time people get out of their cars and onto a bike or a skateboard or a scooter, or they put their sneakers on or their walking boots, they're making healthy choices. And that has, of course, individual benefits, but in time, it will have longer term collective benefits for our collective community health and ultimately for the bottom line of the provincial budget. So our province has set some ambitious and very laudable climate targets. The number one contributor of greenhouse gas emissions on Prince Edward Island, of course, is emissions. So as we strive to meet these bold targets, that is the place where we need to look and find the places where we can make the biggest gains and to work hardest. And Bike-Friendly Communities has done a magnificent job of laying out not only a comprehensive plan for an integrated network of bike lanes throughout the capital region, but also the important role of encouraging people to get out of their cars and onto their bikes, and the thing that can do to reduce GHGs and reducing local air pollution. And of course, nobody expects all islanders to cycle 12 months of the year, although I should tell you that some will, and many already are. But making it attractive and safe for those more reluctant cyclists to utilize such a network, whether it's to get to work or to get to school or to go shopping or to visit a friend or just simply get out on your bike, that's the sort of thing that we need to do, and it will create opportunities for us to become a cycling culture like so many other places already are, such as Denmark and Holland, where for many of the residents of those areas, their bike is their primary means of transportation. Now, of course, I recognize that those sorts of cultural shifts are going to take time and that we're a long way away from becoming the next Holland or the next Denmark. But the best time to start putting the building blocks in place to create that cleaner, safer, more progressive and healthier transportation system is right now. We're already making big strides in the right direction when it comes to sustainable transportation on Prince Edward Island, and I certainly hope for unanimous support for this motion, which aims to enhance and accelerate the construction of active transportation here for the benefits of visitors and islanders alike, and one that honours the legacy of Josh and Oliver Underhain. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member from Charlottetown, Brighton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As a Dane almost born on a bicycle, I'm so honored to second this motion. Born on a bike might be a bit of an exaggeration, but I'm pretty sure my mother probably rode on a bike to the local birthing center to have me. I can't remember, I'm sorry. But I know for sure that 6 months later, my parents went on a 3-week camping trip, and even then I had my own 2 wheels, a little trailer that my father had built that was towed behind my father. Indeed, bikes and public transportation was the only option for our family, as we did not have a car. I'm pretty sure that when I was about to be, I've noticed a difference here in PEI. People go bike riding as if it was a sport or exercise, like jogging or lifting weights. When you're saying you're going shopping, you do not generally describe it as taking a car ride. Here in this country, using the car is considered such a natural thing, almost an extension of your person. That was the way it was in my youth in Denmark. It was just assumed that your bike would be part of the event, be it my own trip to the children's library 15 minutes away, or family trip to the deer garden an hour away. Danish children get to school on their own, walking, biking, or taking the local transportation, so there's no need for school buses. And Denmark, of course, has a complete and safe network of separate bicycle lanes covering the entire country. To make the transition, as the honourable member, leader of the opposition just mentioned, it's not going to be easy thing to do. It's not going to happen overnight. It will take a long, long time to build a complete network of safe bike paths that connect everyone safely in a similar manner that roads now serve cars. We have a similar thing already for pedestrians downtown Charlottetown, which is well served with sidewalks. As a pedestrian, I feel completely safe there, and I don't have to think about where to walk. There's always a sidewalk, safe to walk on. I can cross the roads, and cars are generally respectful. I could confidently let my grandchildren walk on a sidewalk. They are safe. We need the same level of safety for bikes. I salute Josh Underhay for pioneering bike paths on PEI, and we all know that he was prepared to bike anywhere, at any time, on any roadway, in any weather. But we can't all be like that. This vision was a complete network of safe bicycle paths, and we must deliver that. Paving the shoulders and painting lines on the pavements is simply not safe enough. The goal must be a complete network that is safe enough for your kid. Nothing less will do. I'm looking forward to the day when my grandchildren can bike safely everywhere on PEI. Thank you.